Welcome back. All right, career video time. And another Hall of Famer to discuss. And while I've been talking a lot about Hall of Fame goaltenders, today we're going to talk about a Hall of Fame forward. A Rangers legend, Rod Gilbert. Rod Gilbert came into the NHL before there was a draft, and we need to talk about what happened at the end of his junior career before we get into his NHL career, because it had a dramatic effect on that NHL career. So, at the end of his junior career, he breaks his fifth vertebra in his back, and this would overshadow the rest of his career. They used a leg bone, like part of a leg bone, to try to fix his back. It was like spinal fusion was done. And then the leg that they took the bone out of develops blood clots. There was actual concern from doctors that they might have to amputate. Remarkably, the leg would get better. They obviously did not need to amputate. We are here talking about it. But that vertebrae would end up needing more surgery before the 65-66 season. So he didn't play as many games during 65-66 as a result. Rod Gilbert definitely had that kind of hanging over him the rest of his career, but he put together an excellent career. So 60-61, he makes his debut with the Rangers, played just the one game, had the one assist, so he gets his first NHL point. 61-62, again, he only plays one regular season game, did not record a point there, but in the playoffs, he plays 4 games, has 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. So that's how you get things done. You go out there in the playoffs and you say, hey, look, I can be above a point per game. So 62-63, he plays the full season with the Rangers. 70 games, 11 goals, 20 assists, 31 points. Modest totals, sure, but he would get better quickly. 63-64, 70 games played, 24 goals. That's 9th overall in the NHL. This is a 6-team league at this point. 40 assists, that's also 9th. 64 points, that's 9th in the league too. And he went to the All-Star game that season. 64-65, he plays all 70 games again. So 3 years in a row, he plays every game. 25 goals, that's 8th overall. His 36 assists were 7th overall, and his 61 points, also 7th overall in the National Hockey League. He would play in the All-Star game again that year. 65-66, like I said, he gets his second spinal fusion surgery, which sounds painful and just remarkable. His career continued for as long as it did after this. 34 games that year, 10 goals, 15 assists, 25 points. 66-67, he played 64 games that year, 28 goals, that's 4th overall, 18 assists for 46 points. In the playoffs, 4 games, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. Played in the All-Star game, he was 4th in Lady Byng voting and 7th in Hart voting. So even though he only had 46 points in 64 games, he still finishes top 10 in the Hart voting. 67-68, 73 games played, 29 goals, 48 assists, that's 2nd overall. His 77 points were 5th overall. In the playoffs, 6 games played, 5 goals in those 6 games. He was a 2nd-team All-Star that year and 3rd in Lady Byng voting. So to that stage, that was the best season he'd had in his career. 68-69, he plays 66 games, 28 goals, 49 assists, that's 6th overall, 77 points overall. 4 games in the playoffs, just the 1 goal, no assists, so he had no assists over 2 years of playoffs there. He played in the All-Star game that year as well. 69-70, plays 72 games, obviously still with the Rangers. 16 goals, 37 assists for 53 points. He did play in the All-Star game that year. Played 6 playoff games, 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points. Now, the Rangers early in the 70s are pretty darn good. And 70-71, we see the goal-a-game line, the gag line, is formed with Gilbert, Jean Rattel, and Vic Hadfield. With this video being done, that means I'll have done a video on Rattel, on Gilbert. I just will not have done a video on Hadfield. But before we get to 70-71, 69-70 plays 72 games, 16 goals, 37 assists for 53 points. In 6 playoff games, 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points. So very productive in the playoffs that season. Now we get to 70-71, and he's on the goal-a-game line. 78 games played, 30 goals, 31 assists for 61 points. So his first 30-goal season. In the playoffs, 13 games, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points. Once again, very good Rangers team at this stage. just not quite able to win that Stanley Cup. 1940 is becoming more and more of a discussion point with the Rangers as the years go by. 70-71 was the year I just did. So we'll do 71-72, 73 games played that year. His 43 goals are 7th overall. And that season, the goal a game line, everybody, Hadfield, Rattel, and Gilbert, all of them had at least 40 goals. They were the first line in National Hockey League history where all three players on that line recorded 40 or more goals. He also had 54 assists, so his 43 goals were 7th overall, 54 assists were 6th overall, 97 points, 5th overall. And that's the closest he gets to 100 points in his career. In the playoffs, 16 games as the Rangers had a good run, 7 goals, 8 assists, 15 points. Plays in the All-Star game. He's a first-team All-Star that year as well, and he was 10th in Hart voting. So really, really strong season there for Gilbert. 72-73, 76 games played, 25 goals, 59 assists. That's 6th overall. 84 points in the playoffs, 10 games played, 5 goals, 1 assist for 6 points. 73-74 plays 75 games, has 36 goals. That's 10th overall. 41 assists, 77 points. That's the third season he had 77 points. 13 games in the playoffs, 3 goals, 5 assists for 8 points. 74-75, 76 games played. He has 36 goals again, 61 assists. That's 9th overall in the NHL, 97 points again, so he equals his career high. That was 8th overall in the league that year. 3 games played in the playoffs, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. He did play in the All-Star game that season. 75-76 plays 70 games, 36 goals, 50 assists, 86 points. So pretty consistently above a point per game at this stage. And he won the Masterton Trophy for his career-long back issues. That his back just was awful, but he was able to play through it, and clearly he excelled despite his back. It makes you wonder how much more Rod Gilbert would have played and would have scored if not for the back issues he had when he came into the league. 76-77 would prove to be his final full season in the National Hockey League. 77 games, 27 goals, 48 assists for 75 points. He did play in the All-Star game that year. Before the 77-78 season, he had an issue with the Rangers about contract. And because of that, he doesn't start right at the start of the season. He ends up only playing 19 games, 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points. And the Rangers released him on November 23rd. So that ends up being the end of his career right there. It is interesting that he goes from point per game to being out of the league within a year, but it can happen that quickly. Now, he did play for Canada at the 72 Summit Series. He was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1982, and he owns the records for the New York Rangers in terms of goals and points. So he had 406 goals in his career. Next on the list is Jean Rattel with 336. His 1,021 points, 40 clear of Brian Leetch, who would be traded to Boston and ended up in Toronto. So that helped him out. Leetch had 981 points as a Ranger. In his NHL career, 1,065 games played, 406 goals. His 615 assists is 97th. He's still in the top 100. He's also still in the top 100 when it comes to career points. His 1,021 points, 93rd on the all-time list. In the playoffs, 79 games, 34 goals, 33 assists, 67 points. So overall, a very, very good career for a player who, when you consider how ridiculous his back injury was and everything that took place there, it's remarkable he played as many games as he did for as long as he did. So, yeah, Rod Gilbert, one of the all-time greats. And I know this is a career video Ranger fans have been asking for quite some time. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.